In this demo I will show you what you can do with the simulator. Normally you will see a work order at the beginning. It tells you there is a problem with this car. Your task is to find out what the failure is and solve it. To zoom in and out, you can use this slider. You can also use the scroll wheel, or pinch on a touch device. You can move around by dragging. When you're zoomed in far enough, you'll see that you can remove connectors. For instance, if I click here, I disconnect this valve. When you think a component is faulty, you can remove and replace it. First, I drag the temperature sensor to the bottom. Then I replace it and put the sensor back in. In this way, you can also exchange parts. For example, now I exchanged 2 ignition coils. Note that all parts are in the engine compartment. Except for the fuel pump, you can find it in the trunk. Now, how do you find out if a part is faulty? Of course you need tools. You can find them in the menu. There is a dashboard to start the engine and to set the accelerator pedal. A multimeter to measure voltage or resistance between 2 points. A 2-channel oscilloscope. A diagnostic system. A breakout box to measure signals on the engine control module. A pressure meter on the fuel rail. A jump starter, if the battery voltage gets too low. The wiring diagram you can also use to replace wires. The work order. An automatic invoice that shows the cost of the repair so far. And a help file if you want to know more. Most tools you can move around to a position you like. And you can put them back by switching them off in the menu. Now let's start the engine. You'll notice that the sound changes as you move around. The sound also changes when the engine runs full. If you zoom in on some components, you can hear them. For example, this throttle control module. Let's perform an oscilloscope measurement. First, I connect the ground clip to the battery terminal. Then I drag the red probe of channel 1 to the signal wire of an injector. I can zoom in vertically and horizontally on the signal. Now I connect the blue probe of channel 2 to the signal wire of an ignition coil. The scope is still in single channel mode. So let's display the signal of channel 2. I can change the triggering using the menu in the middle. This way I can adjust the trigger level. Move both signals horizontally. And select the slope. Vertically I can move each signal separately. Now I want to select different measurement values. For channel 1 I want to see the injection duration. And for channel 2 the frequency. If you want to measure signals on the control unit, you should use the breakout box. First you have to plug in the connectors. I want to measure the same injection signal, so I should use pin 11 of the control module. Now, let's look at the diagnostic system. When you start it for the first time, the vehicle needs to be identified. After that you're in the main menu. You can get a list of all fault codes. You can look at the freeze frame of each fault code. With this button you erase the stored fault codes. Then you can look at either systems or control modules. Let's look at systems first. The block diagram shows the network structure of the system. And there is the wiring diagram. In both diagrams you can click to get more information on a component. Over here you can see live data. First you select the parameters. And then you can see them real time in a table in a chart. In the engine management system menu there are two other options. There is a menu option to calibrate a new throttle body, and an option to program a control module. Now I track back and select control modules. You can see there is an extra menu option. Here I can perform an actuator test for the selected control module. The actuators are no longer controlled by the software in the control module. You can control them manually using these sliders. Manual control can cause fault codes. When you think you have solved the problem, make sure you erase all fault codes. Remove all tools from the car and reconnect the components. You can open the work order and fill out the form. The simulator checks if you did everything all right. Good luck troubleshooting.